Okay, so today we're working on assembly of the ShallXR Yaw U. So it comes mostly pre-assembled already. So I'm going to assemble the parts that are separate. So we have this pack of tools. I'll have an image with the translation of what all the things are. So this part sits over here. I don't have any instructions, so I'm going to be guessing what goes where. So we've got some thumb wheels, M5 by 16. They may just be spares for the locking plate because they look this. Oh no, they have a different diameter. So let's look under here. I'm just lining up bolt holes. So the thumb wheels go on the adjustable section, so you can easily add and remove them. And I would guess that the shoulder bolts, which are M5 shoulder bolts, which is F2 in the tool pack. So I'm just going to test. They probably go at the bottom. Then we have our M5 nuts, nylock nuts. So there's only 3 of those, so I'm going to guess one of those is a spare. Maybe that's M3 size on the nuts, but I think it's actually, yeah, so that is M3, and I'm guessing that this one that says it's M3 is not. Okay, so the one that says it's an M3 is actually an M4, and you do need an M3 hex for these shoulder bolts. And take out the 8mm wrench for the nylock nuts, and that will be the 8mm side to hold the nylock nut. So with the nylock nut and a 3mm hex, you tighten up that nylock nut. So with that done up, there is a bit of play. I don't know if it's going to rattle. So I would probably add a washer on this because there's, I don't know, I'd estimate 2mm of space that shoulder bolt can move. So hopefully you can see a little bit better from this side. I don't have a washer here. I'll probably end up 3D printing something if it's rattly. The Allen key that was supposed, or the hex that was supposed to be an M3 was an M4, and none of the bolts inside the tool pack are M4, so I'm guessing that's a packing error. Until we hear about some other people who have received, we won't know whether that's a one-off or whether that's the norm. I think because these screw into thread, that will stop any rattling at the bottom. Alright, it can rattle, so that's not ideal. It will need a washer. I'm just going to adjust the camera for positioning. So if we roll the roll axis all the way to one side, there's a bolt here and then a bolt over on the other side. And if we undo those, so that would be the M5 hex in the toolkit, but I'm going to use my own Wera Allen keys, which I really like. They have this cool head that lets you undo things when you can't get straight in. You can do it at an angle. I'll have a link to where you can purchase those in the show notes if you like. You can sort of see. Okay, so now that trap door will open and may need to allow the pitch to come up higher or undo another bolt somewhere. So can see there's this rubber here. This piece had moved, so I'm going to just reposition it. It was towards the back instead of towards the front. Not a big deal. All right, I'm going to remove the pitch lock so that I can get a bit more access. That should allow me to maybe. Oop. So the way it's designed, you can't put that on without undoing the side bolts. Right, so I've got these bolts here. Oh, that's out of shot, of course. Just here. So I'm going to loosen that. Hopefully I can get away with doing it on just one side. Oh no, it's got a nut on it. Hopefully it's an 8mm nut, but I'm guessing it's bigger. Okay, so how else could you tackle this? The easiest way would be to, so you don't have to undo as much stuff. No, I don't think you can get away with it. That's as far as that goes. So to explain where the issue is, I'm going to take the camera out. So if you see these plates, the vertical ones, what happens is when it goes in, the metal at the back hits before the footrest has gone through. So I can try and do that with one hand to show you. So it's hitting, and you can't get all the way through because this doesn't open enough. So that means it's assembled in a way that you have to disassemble to be able to put it together, unfortunately. ShallXR could easily remedy this in the future by cutting a triangle section off the rear of those plates so that the footrest can go in without needing to disassemble anything. And we need to make sure this is up, because if it's not, it will scratch. I've already just scratched that there. And I'm going to lift the camera up a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to undo the seat plate. This is because I don't want to undo the bolts here that have a nut, which would possibly be faster, but I don't have, like, the toolkit doesn't come with a spanner, or sorry, a wrench that's the right size, whereas it does come with an M4 Allen key. And so the aim is that once I've done that, I can lift this plate up enough to get the footrest in. I'm hoping I don't have to undo the whole seat plate. Now that's undone. I can lift that up a bit higher, so I'm going to put this around straight. So if I open that and lift the plate up, the aim is that that little bit extra will get me past, and it has, and then I can close that and put our M5 bolts back in. All right, I'm just going to do up the top plate, the roll plate again. The other good thing about the Wera Hex is they have different coloured plastic for each size, so you kind of get to learn what colour you're looking for. Okay. So now back to here. I want to lift up the closing section. It's a bit tricky to do with one hand. And make sure we're in shot. So this was the M5 hex. Okay, here we go, that's done. Now let's assemble the chair. I've taken it out of the box and out of the plastic bags, and just want to note there's some marks. I'll hold it up close so hopefully you can see it, see the spots. So I'm not sure if that's mold or something, so I'm just going to use some disinfectant wipes to clean it off. The seat base didn't have this, just the top, and only on the inside as far as I can tell. A little bit here. Right, so that should dry off and be okay. Put the wipe in the bin. Okay, so I just want to note, I don't tend to put the armrests on because just one of these is like 1.3 kilos. So we're adding almost 5 kilos by adding 2 of those. And because I don't tend to use them, I don't see the point. All right, so let me start to figure out. So we have a lot of stuff in the box. Got some plastic covers, the metal brackets, our seatbelt latch, the plate that goes on the Yaw simulator, and then the seat back and the seat bottom base. So there's wires on these, that's for the LEDs. So these strips here have LED lighting. We'll connect those a bit later. So first I'm going to figure out what side I want things on, or whether I even have a choice. I assume the holes line up to pretty much put it on a particular side. I look at the spacing. Yeah. All right, so we want the latch facing forward so you can grab and lift it up. And then inside the seat box there was this. So we've got B1, C10, A. Doesn't really help because there was no instructions in the box. So basically I will just open one of each type of bolt and figure out which hole it goes in based on the thread. So, all right. So for these side brackets, it's not the C1x10, it's the B1 8s, because they're the only ones that will actually do up properly. So sitting the bracket in place, put the bolt in, I think that's M5, yep. I'm just going to do them loosely at the moment to get things lined up and in place. My son is just got home from school. I'm recording. I hope you had a good day. Yeah. Right, so that's one side. And then carefully do the other side. Make sure I don't scratch the floor. Okay, so I think that goes like that. So the small side is at the base and the long side is for the seat back. The thing I haven't done, which I have to figure out, is where the seat belt connects. So I might just inspect for that first. is quite non-obvious to me because I would expect it to be down here somewhere, except there's no obvious place to connect it. It will connect on the side of the simulator, I think, not on the chair itself. That's my working assumption anyway. Alright, so I've got one bolt threaded, but I think the bottom one is cross-threaded, so I've just got to figure that out. I don't know why that's hard to do up, it shouldn't be. All the other ones were easy. But it is doing up, so it's okay. It's like it's straight in both vertical and horizontal orientation, so it may be that the thread on the inside of this one was a bit NQR. I think I'll come back to that one. Top one going a lot easier. I'm going to do the other side first, so we've got a bit of stability. So let's dry it off from the wipes. There's still one little spot here. I'll come back and wipe that again. So this will just take a bit longer because that's the tight one, and because the spring is just below it, I can't easily just do full rotations of the hex key. There was a wrench, except I need scissors to do that, so I think that's tight enough. Okay, so these pieces, let's get the right ones first. I'll do the other side so I can lay it over. Okay, so we have this piece goes here, and then in the toolkit we have the small screws and the Allen key. Well, that looks like it's an M4 and M5 Allen key. Again, I'll stick with using my Wera ones. Yep, M4. Okay, so if this is here, and then there's a threaded hole on the bracket. So then we have this piece. I'll give a side shot once it's done up. Okay, so there we go. Let's put the cover on. And now we go to this much more complex piece with 3 bolts. These different legs? Don't think so. Okay, so we want to feed the lever in and get this up to the right place. I'm going to start with the top screw hole. Well, you don't want to over tighten this because it was starting to bend the plastic. And then our last piece. And I'm going to lay it on its side and put the very heavy seat plate. So if you had have been putting the armrest on, that would have used the smaller bolts, and then you just, this might be the wrong side, I don't know, but they've got left and right written on them. They screw on with 3 bolts each, but again, I'm not doing that. Okay, so now we're on to the smaller bolts, which were the C1 times 10. And I probably need 4. Because this plate, so there's a little arrow on this, and you want that facing forwards. And you typically want the seat as far back as possible to give the best balance once you start adding your body and peripherals onto the footrest. This one's M5, pushing the plate as far forward so that the seat is as far backward as possible. And the more you can do that, the less counterweight you will need. And as far as I can tell, there's no hand screw for the weight section in the packaging, so I'll point that out in a second, what section I'm talking about. Just got some dust on there off my floor. Okay, so I'll come back to the chair and show. So this is the section I'm talking about with counterweight. This is designed for a weight plate. So in earlier Yaws, there was a screw that screwed in here. You can get them at a hardware store if you need it, but ideally you don't need to add any extra weight, which all comes down to balancing things. Okay, so I'm going to lift the chair into place and attempt to sit it in. All right, so there's these little channels on each side, and on the plate on the bottom, which I'm not lined up at the moment, but I will get down lower and slide the chair back so that the plate goes onto those rods. And once you're on, I need to be much further back. All right, that's on. And then we go back to the toolkit that came with the Yaw, and we want the M5 by 45 bolts, which were, sorry, let me show that it's on properly. I can get down low enough. All right, so you can see these sections here are it's all down flat. Okay, so in the toolkit, we've got the M6 by 45. We need one of those, which we'll use an M5 for the head. And if we come round to the front, we do that up here to hold the seat in place. Now, you just want to do this up until it touches the plate and doesn't rattle, essentially. Because of the nature of where it is, it can feel like you can just keep tightening it without much issue, but you will bend something. All right, so I'm just getting friction now. So I'm just 2-finger tightening, that's enough. All right, I will put the camera up. Alright, so now the chair's in place. I'm going to get another disinfectant wipe and just try to get that spot there where there was a mark. I thought I saw, could have just been from rubbing it, but I might just give it a wipe anyway. Just now we want to do two things. We have still seatbelt, so we've got to figure out where that will fit. So I'm thinking if this part moves, which it would once it's bolted down, yep. So I'm thinking of putting this here, and we'll see what bolts we have in the kit. And then I just have to check on the other side. Can do the same. Yep. Okay. I'm setting up for Australian driving side, I guess, because I'm going to have my seatbelt coming from the right side to the left, which is probably different for those in America. So be it. Okay, I'm looking for some bolts. This will be the M8 by 25 bolts, which are in the primary toolkit. So these bolts, possibly the washer and the nylock nuts. So I am going to use the washers. It's an M5 hex at the top. And this is somewhere where you do need a shifter at the bottom. So I'm going to use another Wera tool. It's called the Wera Joker, and this works like this and captures the nut, and it's actually ratcheting, so you can use it like a socket, which is pretty cool. I'll spin this around so that you can, and drop the camera down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the seat belt on this side. Okay, so I've got the washer on top. It's very hard to tell. Maybe that's actually designed for American side. I don't think it will fit though, because it kind of feels like it's designed to roll out that way. Well, that's frustrating. All right, so we want to put the seat belt on this side because the way the belt rolls means it will go properly with the flow. So problem is, I think we're going to run into a problem where the seat blocks it from going on, which, yes. Why is there more space? Oh, because it was going out the other way. Okay, that's not, no, it has to go on the other side. Because of the way the bracket is and how much space there is, it has to go on the side that I did initially try it on, which unfortunately means that the belt doesn't flow as easily. A little bit close to the rear release, but we'll deal with it. Okay, so just checking these wires. So we have a round connector, and then coming out the back of the seats, which you can kind of see there. There'll be two connectors, one that goes into that one from the bottom chair, which is like a headphone jack plugged in, and then coming from the chair itself we have this one that connects to the other cable, and that can only go in one way, so you can't get it wrong. And that will provide us our LED lighting. And while we're here, we have our USB cable, can plug in here. And then around this side we have, this is the AC voltage connector. It has a keyway, so you've got to line up the keyway and then just do up that part to lock it in place, and there we go. Okay, so now we have our seatbelt latch, and yeah, that's gonna have to go around that way, I think. Do we want the press on the inside or the outside? I think on the outside. That makes it symmetrical on the way that it's mounted in place anyway. So this hole you have to kind of thread because of the powder coat. And our washer and nut. Get the nut started. Make it nice and tight. Okay, I just wanted to adjust the seat back a bit. So lifting that lever, yep, works well. The spot has come off on here, so that's good. Lift this up a bit. So now we've got our seat. I'll sit in, but it'll move. So I'll just oh, this is actually good. You can see I can sit in and it's not falling forward or back. Got the seat belt. Locks in, undoes. It's pretty cool. Okay, now we're doing the central mount. So I've locked this in place so that I can at least sit it there while I'm doing things. One thing to note is that the folded down section, which would face you as the seated person, should be at the other side. Otherwise you'll have issues getting steering wheels onto the seat plate to do them up. So I would suggest that ShallXR install that the other way around in future. So that's all pre-assembled, and we have this bottom plate, which you turn upside down while holding the thumb bolts, and that just goes underneath. Let me drop the camera down, and yeah, that should be good enough. And so we actually have to turn this up this way and put these in from the other side. Otherwise they won't reach to where they have to do up. So they're just finger tight, and there's rubberized on the top of this so it won't move at all. And then that can be adjusted to whatever angle you like. And with this you can move it up and down if it's lower. So just tighten this up. And out of shot so you can't see. So yeah, you tighten these up, and then this is a cam lock, and that'll stop it from moving. This is loose at the moment, so but you undo both of these. Whoops, too far. I probably have to just stand up and do it. So once they're both loose, you should be able to lift that up. But for me, if I sit in, well, I would actually adjust this quite a bit. Oops. So I'd put this here maybe. And do that cam lock. And make it straight. It would really depend on what I'm using, whether it's racing or flight, and how much the controls stuck out. So that bottom screw is not doing up super tight. But that's actually probably just to stop you from pulling it out. And then you use the top one as the correct height that you want. So I'm okay with that. All right, so that is the majority of the assembly. The only other part is the side rail. Okay, assembling the side rail. These are the bits that go into the side, and you want the side with 2 holes goes in under the chair into one of the channels. This is your main plate that everything connects to. Then we have these L brackets, T-slot nuts, and the bolts to put things together. We will need bolts, which I don't think we have, to complete the assembly. So let's just see how we go. I think we've already used most of the bolts out of the toolkit, and we don't have the bolts that would hold this down, unfortunately. So anyway, so you'd start off with your T-slot nuts on each end, and then the bracket goes in. Turn this around so you can see a bit better. Should be an M5. Actually, these bolts are going to be for here. And then looking at what we've got left in the toolkit, there's no bolts left. And then we only have really big bolts in the seat one. Oops. So we only have enough bolts to connect the sidebars, but not assemble everything. So I'm going to pull out one from my Yaw 2 to show you how it would be assembled theoretically. All right, so I'm not sure if these are countersunk. Yep, they are. So this is basically the same plate, and you'll see here. So the bolts we have are the bolts for here. You could get away with one. If this is, it depends on how you're mounting it. If it's underneath, then you can do one here because the pressure would be pushing up against the bottom of the plate, but I think you have to put it on top. So you really do need 2 bolts. And you need 2 bolts for each L bracket, the T-slot nuts, which we have, and then a T-slot nut for each side of the plate. And this is quite, you can turn it around, so you can move the plate across for where you need or forward to get the placement what you want. If I come over to the chair, so these connect where those channels are, and the bolts go in, and then you move this around. It's like it would actually be up higher, but I'm hitting the bolts at the moment, so it would be in closer, and that's how it goes, and you can put it on either side. So there was one very important step that I forgot to cover in the video, and that was the emergency stop. So that magnet is a magnet that clicks on under here, and without that in place, the simulator won't start properly. I suggest putting a lanyard on here and then just tucking it into the seat here, so that if you have an issue, you can always just yank that and it will stop motion. Hope this helped you all. If you like my content, if you like and subscribe, if you want to help support the channel and the content I make, then there's also a link to buy me a coffee in the show notes. Thank you.